He picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
But it just tells the story of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days is everywhere.
Welcome to the think tank. I wasn't even quite ready. Go figure. And I'm there. Oh, there we are. Good to go. Can put those over here. So we're going to talk about Brooks Houck again today. There's a document that's come out. I thought we should go over it. They're trying to get rid of this judge. So I don't quite know how I feel about this at this time because it seems to be the in thing. Everybody's wanting different judges, and I'm not quite sure how that works. Oh, what have I got going here? Let me go. This one spot, it keeps popping up. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, Brooks Houck, and I don't know. They've got that one gun that they're trying to match up the ballistics. It's like 4 out of 5 different requirements that they have. They need one more to make it a complete match to that gun that his brother Nick sold under somebody else's name, allegedly. Hey, Carrie. Hello. I know zero about this. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's a lot going on there. It's another one of those cases that it's got all sorts of different, oh my word. So Crystal is that basically what kind of broke all of this open and started almost like an avalanche. Hey, Tracy. Hello. Mexie's out with baby anyways, so maybe we'll get to see her in a bit. She's totally enjoying this grandmom, or what is it? Godmother thing. She's perfect choice, she is. Hello, Mel. My dogs are sitting here trying to push me around. So there is a bit to go over as far as this. Let's see here. As far as this case goes. So, like I was saying, they are trying to get rid of this judge as well. So this is a pretty small area that they live in. Let me see where I put myself. Okay, so it is Brooks' side that is wanting this judge gone. And they're basically saying that there is contempt biased. Like I said, this is a pretty small area. Everybody knows everybody. No, I don't think I can get rid of this.
This just in, Brooks Houck wants a new judge in his murder trial. In court documents filed today, his attorneys are asking that Judge Charles Sims be disqualified from the case, citing bias against Houck. Last month, Houck was charged with murder and tampering with evidence from the disappearance of his then.
So, Brooks Houck has been arrested for unaliving his girlfriend, or she's gone. She's just gone. And after that, I think it was her father he was looking hard for Crystal, and they think that maybe he was getting close. And he was unalived, just starting to hunt on his own land with his 12-year-old grandson. Someone shot him. We've also got Officer Jason Ellis that they're thinking they're possibly a tie to that. And he is an officer who was he was set up to get out of his vehicle. And someone unalived him as well. Now, at the time that this happened, Nick Houck, which is his brother, was a cop. So there's that. And then, is this case to do with Crystal Rogers? You betcha. You betcha, friend. So there's also a mother and daughter. The mother was a teacher. And the daughter was, I think, like a straight A student. And I'm sorry I don't have the name with me right now. But they mysteriously were unalived right around the same time in an area that basically gets no violence. So it is, my friend. We're going to be talking about Brooks and his team that are trying to get this judge off the case. And we're going to also listen to Sherry Ballard, which is Crystal's mother and the wife of Tommy. She has basically been keeping this. Hat's been hearing cats. She's been basically keeping this going since day one. You know, well, I won't say day one. She was part and parcel with her husband, who was extremely active. And when Tommy was passed away, she basically has taken over. She's lost a big chunk of her family.
Girlfriend Crystal Rogers. Judge Sims set his bond at $10 million full cash. Houck's attorneys say, quote, the sensationalism surrounding this case was fueled in large part due to local
$10 million. And the thing is I bet that family could scratch it up.
Law enforcement's remarkable decision to release portions of their open investigation, including Mr. Houck's police interview to the public during an ongoing investigation after naming Mr. Houck as a main suspect. Houck's attorneys also bring up Crystal Maupin, Houck's current and longtime girlfriend. The attorneys say Sims made comments about Houck in her custody case, even though he had nothing to do with it, and they say that also shows his bias.
Isn't that interesting? I'm going to go back a little bit and look at this girlfriend. Do you guys know that he was... Let's go back a little bit. Maupin, Maupin. And it's a frickin' picture. It's an arrest photo.
Sims made comments about Houck in her custody case, even though he had nothing to do with it, and they say that also shows his bias against Houck. Judge Sims could not be reached for comment.
Yeah. That is more, I think, just something... I don't know. I don't know what I think of this. You're buffering. Anybody else buffering? Okay, hang on. Let's see if this makes it better. Okay, let me know if this helps a bit. I keep getting commercials from this one. Is that any better? It should be. It fixed us up yesterday. I think I'm testing my internet a little bit much. I got a lot going when I stream lately. I'll wait to hear from you guys. And if not, I'll do some more cutting. Because I think it's me. It's cold outside today. Ugh. Yeah, I'll just wait for you guys. Okay, can you guys, is it any better? You're not seeing buffering? Okay. I might have to do it this way. So, okay, I think I know what I'm doing. I think it might be me. Whoop, whoop. Hey, JC. Okay, I think it's me. All right. It's Frankie. Go figure. Just pushing my limits. Whoop, whoop. Hey, Melissa. Good to see you. We're just getting the buffering figured out. I think I've told you guys before, I've got a Starlink because in the middle of mountains, you really get bad internet. So in order to stream at all, hubby got me, I think it's called Starlink. It's another X from Elon Musk. But the thing is awesome. But yeah, I've been pushing it, obviously. Sounds great. I think I figured it out. Yeah, let's blame Frankie. I'm okay with that. I got big shoulders. All right. Let me know if you start freezing up again, and I'll see what else I can do to straighten it out. So the special prosecutor objects to the removal of the judge in Brooks Houck's case. So the special prosecutor for the Commonwealth of Kentucky in the Brooks Houck trial has filed a motion objecting to the removal of Judge Charles Sims. Houck's attorney claims Sims, Sims is biased against their client. Houck's attorneys, Brian Butler and Michael Denbo, argue that Judge Sims is biased against Houck, citing a $10 million bond and comments made by the judge in an unrelated case. I'm going to make this a bit bigger, guys. All right. The prosecutor's motion said that the court considered the nature of the offense, the substantial resources of the defendant, as well as the prior interactions with witnesses in determining the amount of bond. Also noted, the comments made by the judge were not directed at Houck and therefore did not show bias against him. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, he's got a lot of money. His whole family's got a lot of money. If they put $1 million, they'll be out. Gone. That's my personal opinion. The prosecutor's motion. Let's see. So the attorney for Commonwealth said Houck failed to meet his burden for disqualification of Judge Sims. Okay. I haven't read this. I just brought it up. And if anybody wants the document itself, I'm going to put it in Patreon. So, Commonwealth response to defendant's motion to disqualify Honorable Charles Sims, Brooks Houck's defendant. The Commonwealth of Kentucky by Counsel Teresa Young, Special Prosecutor, for the purposes of this action and in response to the defendant's motion to disqualify Honorable Judge Sims, states as follows. The defendant has requested the judge disqualify himself on grounds that the judge is biased against the defendant. The defendant cites 2 examples, which the defendant claims demonstrate bias or prejudice on the part of the judge. First, the defendant argues that the bias is evidenced by a remark regarding Houck in an unrelated proceeding. Second, the defendant argues that bias is shown in the bond set in the present proceedings. Neither the defendant's argument support the request to disqualify Judge Sims. So, pursuant to KRS 286A, the judge shall disqualify himself from any proceeding in which he has personal bias or prejudice concerning a party. In the present case, the defendant has argued that the judge demonstrated personal bias against the defendant when 6 years ago, in Crystal Maupin's custody proceeding, the court stated, oh, it's doing it again. Sorry, guys. It keeps wanting me to show this. Is that clear enough for you guys? Okay. So in August 2016, Mark Maupin and Crystal Maupin agreed the child they shared in common would have no contact with her significant other, who is Brooks Houck. See Defendant's Exhibit 1 for a complete copy of the order regarding the custody proceedings. That's interesting. The parties made this part of a written formal agreement in that writing. Crystal Maupin agreed that if the child had contact with Houck, Miss Maupin would relinquish all parenting, with the child and the child's father would be named sole custodian. That's pretty big. Miss Maupin did not litigate the issue, but rather chose to enter into the... Whoa! When do you hear of that happening? Unreal. Well, yeah. Just checking in, guys. Yes, this is true. This is another case that goes more sideways than the crab. Is that right? I do not think a non-local judge should set this case. Yeah, I don't see any problem with this current judge, personally. Yes, it is. This case is many years old with history. And that's the thing. I mean, this goes, what is it now, 7 years back? We're talking about, this case has got tentacles, like an octopus. You've got her dad. You've got Crystal's dad. You've got Jason Ellis. You've got those 2 others, that teacher and her daughter. That's what I think too. He's going to know about Houck's involvement in other things, even though things might not be out to the public. You know, we might not be able to find stuff on it, but both of those boys and even the mother, like, whoa. I think it's perfectly fair for Judge Sims to acknowledge that openly. Yeah. We leave it long enough, it'll be forgotten. It's the families and public that keeps these cases alive and forced to see justice in some way. Oh, her little mom, oh, she's feisty. Sherry Ballard's got some feist. And she has been going hard at this. I'm not sure if she's going to get custody of Crystal's son now, because, well, Brooks' mom was fighting for custody with Sherry Ballard, but Brooks' mom stopped fighting it. So I don't know if the court has to do some evaluating or anything along those lines, but hopefully he will be with the rest of his family with Sherry soon. In February of 2017, Crystal Maupin filed a motion requesting to set aside the agreement as it related to the child's contact with Brooks Houck and to set a specific time-sharing schedule. Mark Maupin had no objection to Crystal Maupin having substantial contact with the child. However, he continued to object to the child having any contact with Houck. Thus, this was the primary point of contention in the litigation. I'd do the same thing. I would. In considering whether to set aside that agreement, the court looked at both parties' living situation. Crystal Maupin informed the court that she had lost her job because her employer was receiving threats due to her relationship with Houck. As part of the litigation, there was evidence that Houck was considered the primary suspect in Crystal Rogers' disappearance. Mark Maupin's objections about his child's contact with Houck grew out of Maupin's concern someone might try and harm Houck. Defendant Exhibits 1, page 4. Based on the evidence in that case, the court found many members of the community believed Houck was involved with Miss Rogers' disappearance, as well as the murder of Tommy Ballard, which is her dad. Crystal Maupin acknowledged in the proceeding that her agreement to keep the child away from Houck was due to harassment she was receiving as a result of her relationship with Houck. That should be like, I don't know, red flags? Red flags much? She recognized that at the time of the agreement, it was not in the child's best interest to be around Houck. The statement quoted by the defense is not comment upon Houck, but rather some of Miss Maupin's parenting decisions. This includes Miss Maupin's decision to voluntarily limit contact with her son and lose employment in order to begin a fledgling relationship with someone who had been named the prime suspect in a crime. Obviously, Miss Maupin placed her new relationship above all else in her life. There we go. Jesus Lord Murphy. Well, hello, Mexi. I have not seen anything on Nick Houck yet. Not a damn thing. Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to another lady from that area, and she kind of clued me in a little bit as to what it's like and how the Houcks are looked upon. And she also gave me a little bit of information on Sherry Ballard. And, you know, nothing but positive about her. And the feist. You knew she had to have that feist. Okay, so So in doing so, the court reasoned that Miss Maupin was now living with Houck, and if the child continued to be restricted from contact with Houck, it would be difficult for her to exercise time sharing with the child. Additionally, the court found no evidence that Houck had ever harmed a child, or that there was a reason to believe that anyone would harm a child simply because the child was with Houck. Thus, the court's opinion demonstrates no bias against Houck. Had the court been biased against Houck, the court would obviously not have allowed the child to have contact with him. To support their argument that Judge Sims cannot preside in this case, the defense has cited, Marchese and Abersold. So Marchese, however, does not stand for the proposition that a judge must recuse himself from any proceeding in which the judge has had any previous information regarding one of the litigants. Certainly in many small counties in the Commonwealth, such a decision would make it impossible for judges to preside in many cases. Rather, Marchese requires disqualification when a judge has sought extrajudicial information about the matter before the court, in that the case, the judge chose to conduct her own investigation of disputed facts which were in front of the court. She used that information as reasoning for her holding in the case, and did not allow the parties to refute that information. The court found that a judge must recuse herself when she gathers information about a pending case from extrajudicial sources. That's fair. What was she doing? There is no allegation that Judge Sims' comments in the family court proceedings were derived from any extrajudicial sources, or that Judge Sims undertook his own investigation in that case. Rather, that information came from litigants and the evidence presented before the court. Further, there is no allegations that Judge Sims has utilized any information obtained from family court in the present matter. Finally, while the defendant claims the statement from family court demonstrates bias, the defendant failed to raise that issue at the first opportunity that the defendant had to do so. It is well-established law in this state that a party must present a motion for recusal immediately when a party becomes aware of facts warranting recusal. The purpose of the rule seems obvious. When a party is aware of the grounds for recusal, the party should not hold this in its pocket, awaiting to see if the court makes an adverse ruling. Fair? In doing so, an adverse ruling then would be claimed to be born out of bias. But the present case, the defendant was aware of the family court ruling prior to this arrangement. CourtNet shows that defense counsel, CourtNet, you ever heard of that before? Where did that go? Yeah, CourtNet. Shows that defense counsel requested the family court order on September 29th, 2023, prior to the arraignment, yet at the arraignment, the defendant did not seek to recuse the judge, but instead filed a motion to reduce his bond. Upon the denial of the motion to reduce the bond, the defendant then filed the affidavit with clerk seeking to recuse the court. Oh my. He's not liking it in those walls. Having been denied the bond relief he requested, the defendant now claims his bond is an example of bias in this case. The majority of his argument is an attempt to relitigate the issues raised in the defendant's motion to reduce bond. Those issues were fully litigated by this court. This court considers both parties' evidence and arguments in reaching a decision that the bond was appropriate. This decision is currently subject to an appeal. The defendant's claim of bias derives from his bond being higher than bonds previously set for others charged with unaliving. A court's decision on bond is a discretionary ruling. In order to properly apply its discretion, a court must exercise independent judgment and consider the unique circumstances of the case. To have set amounts solely dependent on the crime committed without an examination of the circumstances of the individual defendant would be an abuse of discretion. In this case, the court's decision to set a higher bond, it's doing it again. Stop it, stop it. And it does it again. All right. Okay, so in this case, the court's decision to set a higher bond took into consideration the nature of the offense, the substantial financial means of the defendant, as well as the defendant's prior history of non-compliance with rules of the court. These factors considered by the court support the court's amount of bond. The burden of proof required to disqualify a trial judge is I'm not going to say it right now. Erroneous. 1. The defendant's conclusion statement regarding bond does not meet this burden. The defendant argues that the bond decision is also evidence that the court is being swayed by public outcry. The defendant accurately states he has been the prime suspect since the case first began, and that local law enforcement publicly named him as the prime suspect in spite of what he claims is public outcry. He has continued to live in the community and to have a thriving business, giving his multitude of interactions in the community which occur without incident. Houck does not appear to be a social pariah that he claims to be. Regardless, the defendant has offered nothing to support his claim that the court's bond decision is a result of any unpopularity of the defendant. This is good. This is good. I mean, he needs to be put into his place. Finally, the defendant argues that during the hearing on the motion to reduce bond, the court in partial relied upon information regarding the investigation of the deleting of Tommy Ballard. The defendant argues that if there is evidence that Nick Houck is the perpetrator, there is no evidence that Brooks Houck is dangerous or that Nick Houck acted at Brooks' direction. However, on evidence provided by the Commonwealth during the hearing shows that the brothers have previously acted in concert by secretly bringing recorders into the Nelson County jury. Not only did the brothers do this, the sister did this, their mother did this, while being talked to by the grand jury. They taped it. The only reason I guess they have not been charged is it's been too long before it came out. But, I mean, if you're willing to do that, ooh la la. So, certainly anyone would assume that the secret recordings, which the two intended to share with each other, was for the purpose of ensuring that everyone told consistent stories and that the two Houck brothers could craft their own statements to fit the testimony of others. It is reasonable to believe that the two people who had worked together to shape the narrative of witnesses would not hesitate to try to influence other witnesses regarding their testimony. Given the history of the brothers in the case, it is not improper for the court to take possible future actions into consideration when setting the bond. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see here. So the conclusion, the defendant has not demonstrated the court any bias, thanks Maxie, any bias towards the defendant. A single statement in the prior family court proceeding is not directed at Houck, but rather Crystal Maupin. Further, the court's order in the case shows that the court was impartial and considered only the evidence presented in reaching the conclusion that Maupin's child could have contact with Houck. The bond, as set, in the present case was the result of the court's consideration of relevant factors for bond. The court considered the nature of the defenses, the substantial resources of the defendant, as well as prior interaction with witnesses in determining the amount of bond. The defendant has offered nothing but conclusory, I can't see, statements to support the motion to disqualify Judge Sims. I swear, some days I can just look at the word and okay, my tongue is not going to get that wrapped around. Oh my God. Is this age 2? They say everything. Age. Well, I refuse to grow up. I'm fighting it. Okay. Wherefore, as the defendant has failed to meet the burden for disqualification of Judge Sims, the Commonwealth requests this court deny the defendant's motion. Yes. So, okay. I don't think I've heard anything. I don't have an update on that, guys. Okay, I thought the judge had made some certain decisions, and I don't think maybe he has. I'm going to have to take another look. That's one thing, these documents, I end up having to take many, many looks. Talk them out. Because, you know, the thing with anything that comes from a courthouse, every little single word that is used means something. So I can brush over it, get tongue-tied and all the lovely things. But it takes a bit to totally understand. So when you end up with cases like, this is just one. And it's document after document after document. I'm old school. This one's going to be a case like that. Alrighty. Okay. Well, yeah. She's got a booking photo. I don't know what that booking photo was exactly for. At JC, I strongly believe in a father's rights just as much as mom's, but only if it's proven other parent is doing what they're supposed to do as a parent. Is that what she got, JC? Are you on our Discord? You should pop into Discord and see us. Let me see here. So I'll put this out, and any one of you, if you want to join us, and you should, it's actually a really great platform. So that's our Discord. Great people in there, lots of information. Are you serious? I got a receipt with Brooks' name on it. Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can do anything to make this a bit bigger.
Years since Tommy Ballard was killed, and tonight in an interview you will only see right here on WHAS 11 News, his widow, Sherry Ballard, sat down with Shay McAllister in Bardstown today, sharing her reaction to the major developments in the investigations that are underway and what she hopes is coming next. Shay?
Well, Doug, of course, Sherry has stayed incredibly tight-lipped here at the direction of investigators. But as her husband's case marks 7 years unsolved, she told me she feels obligated to continue to fight for answers. And she's feeling
I have to say, I just adore this family. You know, they're fighters. Crystal left behind 5 kids, you know. And they just seem like a very united family. And look at how she's just a little dynamite. She's doing a great job.
confident another arrest could come at any moment.
My kitchen window faces this tree, and we was together and just, you know, we'd be like, oh, look, the tree's doing its thing today. And I miss him being at my kitchen counter.
Every year, when the season starts to change, Sherry Ballard sees this tree as a reminder. Another year has passed without her husband, her high school sweetheart, Tommy Ballard. He was shot and killed November 19th, 2016.
So to think it's been almost 7 years since, you know, that happened to Tommy, I feel like I haven't had him for a lifetime, but to think it's really been 7 years, it's unbelievable.
For 16 months after his daughter disappeared, Tommy led search parties, collected boxes of evidence, and mapped out possible scenarios of what could have happened to her. He was so determined, Sherry says she believed someone killed him to shut him down.
I think he wouldn't have given.
I think that's exactly what happened, you know, and now they're checking to see if that gun that Nick sold under a fake name, they're saying it's the right caliber. Like I said, 4 out of the 5 things that they need to say 100% that this was the gun that killed Tommy. They're just a little bit away. And if that happens, you'll see Nick going next. And that's the thing. It's Crystal's family that has pushed. And now her oldest daughter, you know. Absolutely. Well put it. Well put.
Up, and certain people knew that he would not give up.
Every year that passes is difficult, but this year is different.
And I think things are coming together, and I think I'm headed in the right direction. After 7 years, I'm finally headed in the right direction.
Sherry was in the front row of the courtroom.
So that is Crystal's oldest daughter sitting with her grandma. Just heartbreaking. She's kind of taken on the role. Well, of course, the youngest is the one that they are trying to get custody of now that Brooks is in the Houck'S. I mean, if he comes out of this, I'll be shocked. But we're getting shocked lately.
When the special prosecutor on her daughter's case dropped a bombshell.
We're investigating the murder of Tommy Ballard.
Announcing not only are they working on his murder, They think they know who killed him.
We are waiting for testing to come back on the firearm we believe was used to murder Tommy Ballard, a firearm that we purchased from Houck.
Totally.
Oh, doesn't that gives me the chills. That gives me the chills. Let me see here. For me, this case, so many knows what and who. The amount who are staying shut, whether out of fear. It's been too long now. I don't know, but it takes just one person to talk, then bang. Yeah, and I think that, oh, don't let it depress you, Mal. No. Don't let it sink in. You know, if it starts to get where it's hard, walk away for a little while, friend. Seriously. Mental health comes first, and this is all heavy stuff. So if you get sad, take a breath, friend. Seriously. And I mean that with all the love out there. I truly do.
Surprised. Totally.
And was it a good surprise?
It was hard, but very good in the end. Very hard.
Was that information new to you, or is that what you have always believed?
No, it's what I've always believed. I've said that from day one. You know, I've never, ever changed my mind on that, ever.
She's been suspicious of the man linked to her daughter's disappearance since the very beginning. Houck was fired from the Bardstown Police Department just months after Crystal was reported missing. The chief of police accusing him of interfering with the investigation and then failing a polygraph. 2015 police interview, he denies any involvement in Crystal's case.
You did fail that test.
Well, then the
I showed you.
test, then it wasn't valid. I mean,
Absolutely valid.
well, listen, I'm telling you, I had nothing to do with it.
We'll find her. We're going to know, no doubt about it.
Now, all eyes are on the firearm tests that are currently underway. The special prosecutors.
So, yeah, I haven't seen anything as of yet. I haven't seen any documents yet, as far as that goes, but I'll go through and see what I do have. And if there's anything that might refresh us a little bit, maybe I'll do either a video or a live on it. But, yeah, bless her heart.
Saying 4 out of 5 tests are a match.
Do you feel like you have a confidence this year that maybe you haven't had in previous years?
A lot more confidence, a lot more. God is finally answering some of my prayers. You know, it's His time, not mine, and I'm very happy with that.
Happy and hopeful that next year, when the leaves start to fall with the change of the season, she is
So, oh, I got that over here too. That's funny. Let me see here, friends. See if there's anything else I can find. The biggest thing has been that they've been fighting about lately is whether or not that judge should step down, but I can't see it. So we know that Joseph Lawson is still in the Houck'S, so he has also been charged with and he's got a few charges. And it does seem to be relating to this case. We know Brooks Houck'S is listed as maximum security inmate at the Hardin Correction Center. Yeah, what do you guys think? I just do not believe that he'll have to step down. I'm just not seeing it. So, yeah, that basically, guys, I think we know most of the other stuff that's going on here. How do you guys feel? Guilty, guilty, guilty? Yep. Does make me think higher forces are involved. Keep shut and we'll protect you, or end up like Crystal. Isn't that a scary frickin' thought? So do I. I mean, who goes to the grand jury with like recording devices? Yeah, it makes you wonder how high up this does go. And, and it's going to, depend which arm you go down to, right? It looks like the judge is good. That's probably why they want him out. But it does, if they've got a good judge, and the prosecutors so far seem to be doing everything right. And it is, as much as sometimes defense tends to peeve me off, things like Odinism. But with that said, it's their job, right? They've got to do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't lie that good. Not a hope. Oh, this is it. No, the cases are all over the place. This one seems, I think this, I shouldn't really be surprised. That's a good question, Mexi. I do wonder if Crystal found something out about the Houck'S, or if Brooks and Crystal were having domestic problems. Well, from what I've heard, they didn't get along great, and she was leaving him. Like, she was leaving him. It sounds like her daughter knew. It sounds like her mom knew. It sounds like Tommy knew. Everybody knew that she was leaving. So when she went missing, this is part of the reason that they just kind of went, oh yeah, okay, guilty much? All this time, and little by little, secrets come out, but it makes you wonder how far back in that family. Like the mother, oh my God. Did you see her when Brooks was arraigned? She just looked like all mean old lady. Yeah, if I can't have you, no one will. And it sounds like when she left, she basically, when she needed to get away from him, it sounds like she just went to her parents' place, and they'd figure things out. And small town, everyone knows. Yeah, that's the thing. I would love to learn more about this area. I'd love to talk to somebody who's from that area. Yep, kind of like the Barry Morphew syndrome. Still waiting for him to get arrested, too. Yeah, it's pretty hard to keep some things behind closed doors. But I think she was being fairly open about the fact she wanted out of there. I don't know if she ever mentioned, I haven't seen anything yet that said she was afraid of him. But I'm sure she was worried about him going after their son. You think they look a little bit alike? Brooks and Barry Morphew? Yeah. So, guys, that is what I have today. I got a couple things I want to look into. And if I find anything else out, if something else just happens, that's the thing. I think it is a status issue. They've got the money, and I think they've been known to retaliate. And I'm not talking about this case, but, some of the things a person hears, there's a history. But like I said, I want to know how far back in that family it goes. Maybe I need to start another family tree. Yeah. They both seem pretty arrogant. Yeah. Can't touch that. Yeah. They are both absolutely, secrets, lies, and alibis. Absolutely. And like I say, the mother, I'm pretty sure she's the same, made of the same cloth. But I'd like to know about her parents, and I'd like to know about the dad. If Brooks had the money, why the hell was he stealing roofing tiles from Lowe's or Home Depot? Yeah. That's what I was thinking, just to see if he could get away with it, just for a thrill. I bet that's it. Loser. Yeah, the pictures that you see of him sitting in the Houck'S, it's like, perfect. That's exactly where you need to be. Let's get your brother. Let's get looking at those other cases. I still want to know what's going on with the mother and daughter. And I absolutely want to know what's going on with Jason Ellis. So those could also be a deep dive at one point. Right now, I'm working on the 24 days of Christmas. So how I'm doing that is December 1, it'll be a crime for December 1. December 2, a crime for December 2, up until the 24th. So I'm going to research, there's 24 cases. So research, and I might put them out in video form. I'll see how it goes. See if I can get as much done as I need to in 15 days. But yeah, I think it would be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Mexi's going to help me with some of the research. And absolutely, if you guys have a day, like in December, where there's somebody you would really, really, really like, or a case that really interests you, doesn't matter how far back, they're going to be, get a hold of me on Discord. And Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Facebook. Just starting up another one there. I got rid of my last one. So it's back as a test. Yeah, exactly. An advent calendar of crime. Absolutely. So we've got a bunch listed. But again, if there's something that you guys want to see, the input would be perfect. It would be perfect. Go for it. Blifton's good at that stuff, isn't he? Okay, guys, with that said, I'm going to call it. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And don't forget to hit that thumb and share. So with that said, whatever next, eh? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.